Hey guys, Chris here again, and I want to connect with you for a little bit, share a story with you, but just before I do that, I want you to realize something here. Now, there's a lot of other businesses out there, there's a lot of other people with whom you can join, so it's got to be an overwhelming decision of what business do I go with, what's right for me, and who's right for me. And from my perspective of making over $1 million a year online, it sickens me to see all these people hyping everything up, talking the talk, not walking the walk, not being able to deliver the goods, and it saddens me seeing people join with someone who really doesn't know what they're doing any more than they do, falling victim to the hype. Now again, in my extreme level of success here, I can tell you there's not an ounce of hype on this website, just things that I've experienced, exciting things, successful things that I've experienced within my success online here. And the neat thing for you is I can genuinely tell you from the bottom of my heart that I care about your success and I want you to succeed. And as cliche as that may sound, my main reason for telling you that is I have a vested interest in you. The more you make is the more I'm going to make. I'm not creating a competition out here like most business models are, where if I bring you in, you're out there competing against me, so I keep all my secrets to myself. I'm going to show you everything I know here, because my success, my level of income, the big money is directly reflected upon your success and if I can get you to succeed. So that's a neat little teaser there for you. But that's not the point of this. The point of this is about a story about the first newbie that I mentored to success. Now, I'm not talking about Matt here. His story is phenomenal as well, but we'll say that for another time. But what I'm talking about here is a guy who was making $5 an hour who now makes over $200,000 each and every month. Well, I want you to pay close attention to his story so that way you can experience the same result here. Now, the story starts back in 2006, and I remember just about every event crystal clear to this day here. This guy is 20, he's a couple years younger than me, close to my age. He wanted to learn how to make money online without an employer here. Never wanted to worry about working for somebody else again, never wanted to worry about money again. He didn't want to build somebody else's dream, he wanted to start building and living his own dream. But this guy had no marketing knowledge, no internet knowledge, no entrepreneurial mindset and knowledge whatsoever. I mean, it was bad, okay? When it comes to the computer, he had basic computer skills, knew how to copy and paste, send an email, play around on the internet, play around on MySpace, you know. I think even my dog has a MySpace. But, this guy, he had the dream, just lacked the knowledge of how to make it a reality here. Okay, so you've got a website, this guy got a website, people just start coming to it, right? You build it and they will come, all right? Well, unfortunately, that's not the way it works here. There's a formula that's got to be applied to achieving online success. Now, before I share this paint by numbers success formula here, let me give you a little more of this background so that way you can relate to him. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to give you a whole list of his failures, because for most people, before we experience extreme success, we've got at least a failure or two under our belt. If not, you're lucky. But this guy had a whole list of failures. Poor guy. And what I want to tell you about is his whole list of failures just 2 weeks prior to his success. Okay, we'll leave out most of it. So this guy spent $500 with a web designer to build his website. $500-600, website done. As I said, he soon after figured out that, hey, I've got to do something to get people to these websites, to my website. It's not just going to happen on its own. So he dropped a good $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in marketing dollars. And about 3 days into this, he hadn't made dime one. And racking his brain, called up his web designer and said, "What's going on? I haven't had anybody visit my website." So his web designer goes, looks at his statistics and confirms that no, you haven't had anybody to your website yet. So baffled, this guy goes to his website on his own to see what's going on and to see what other people are seeing. And what he sees is a big fat error page saying that the page cannot be found. So this time, irate, he calls his web designer and says, "What the heck is going on? My website's not even up." And so the web designer says, kind of cocky, "Well, you never told me to advertise it for you, so your website is not even active on the internet yet." So, man, talk about bad luck. This guy is already about ready to give up just 3-4 days into the whole deal here. So, the web designer says, it's only $4 a month and I'll host it for you. So this guy took care of it, hosted it for him. $4 or $5 a month is all it took. It's just something that was overlooked and this guy wasn't aware of. It's something going into it that he later on down the road learned. So day 4 rolls around, still nothing. Day 5 rolls around, and still nothing. So again, now he's absolutely ready to give up. Gives a final call to his web designer and says, still no hits, your website is up, it's got to be your marketing. So this guy calls up USA Today. Actually, first he purchases a USA Today newspaper, because this is where his advertisement was, his initial advertising, and looks at the paper. Sure enough, there's his ad, plain as day. He sees it right away in the classified section. Ad looks great, but what he realizes is the domain name's not right. It was misspelled. And so he calls up USA Today and says, what's going on? You guys messed up my ad, and I've got all these dollars in advertising paid to you guys. And they said, well, we're looking at the ad right here. You misspelled it. We put exactly what you put. So this guy just hangs his head, hangs up the phone, about ready to give up, $4,000 or $5,000 in the hole. Put his whole life savings to date in the money he had been using to pay bills just to barely keep his head above water was now down the drain, just a waste, washed out. Okay, so at this point, some friends and family members are calling him and to see what his progress is, see what level of success he had, because he was telling all his friends and family that I'm going to be rich, things are going to happen for me, and this is the deal, this is what's going to do it. So his friends and family doubted him the whole time, were calling to razz him and give him a hard time, and sure enough, they were right. He told his friends and family what had happened, and was ashamed of it, and so they kind of laughed at him, and basically in an I told you so approach said, why don't you go out there, get a college degree, get a real job, and start your career. And the guy was he was just about broken by this point. Decided to give in and started to update his resume, printed it out, was looking at it for typos because he learned his lesson about typos the first time around with his USA Today ad, and gave it one last second thought. And he saw himself 30 years in the future, 30 years down the road, waking up to an alarm clock, 6 o'clock every morning, working for peanuts, 10, 15, even 20 bucks an hour wasn't worth it to him, working for somebody else, very little pay, no time to do what you want, to enjoy life, someone else basically running your life, working for a very little retirement plan, and he realized this wasn't for him. He snapped, and I remember to this day, he said to me, say, Chris, this is not for me. He took that resume, he ripped it up, and threw it in the trash. Okay? He grabbed a piece of paper at this point and wrote down all kinds of reasons as to why he had to succeed online. I think he had a list of a good 100 or so emotional reasons as to why he must succeed. Then he focused on one thing that really stuck out to him. This is the one thing. He knew it was possible to make money online. He knew it was possible to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month without an employer. And more importantly, the freedom to do what he wants when he wants, and to have the money to do what he wants when he wants. So he had seen the success stories, he had seen that it's possible, and that's all he needed. So he went back to the drawing board, made sure his website was up and active this time, and it still was. He had $200 left to his name. Had college bills to pay for the 1 year that he went. He had other credit card bills, had a junky car that he was paying on, bills to pay, had $200 to his name, took that $200, put it in marketing. Okay? He placed a couple smaller ads online, double-checked, triple-checked his ads, make sure everything was spelled properly this time. So the advertising hits. His alarm clock goes off, hopefully for the last time, at 6 in the morning, so that way he can see exactly what's going on, make sure everything's working right. 6 a.m., nothing happens. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time rolls around, nothing happens. 9:24 a.m., I'll never forget that time that this happened for him. 9:24 a.m., he gets an email in his inbox saying, you have a new sign-up. He was bouncing off the walls. How much did he make? He made $1,000 from that one. Then later on that day, he went on to make 2 more sales, a $3,000 day, as soon as everything started clicking for him. He had a couple hiccups in there, but as soon as his website was working right, his advertising was right, his domain name in his ad was right, $3,000 in his first day. He went on to make $13,000 that month, his first real month there, when he had everything working properly. His second month he went on to make $26,000. By the time his 5th month rolled around, he had found what it took to be successful. He did a wash, rinse, repeat kind of deal. By his 5th month, over $100,000. Okay, 6 figures in 1 month.